Welcome back to another episode of Turn the Page, production of Saturday Night Gaming. Tonight we have a special guest that I'd like to introduce to you. This is Scott Hibbard, actually the father creator of Saturday Night Gaming, and the one reason that we can do all this goofy stuff on Turn the Page. And before we get started, don't forget, if you like what you see, please click like, subscribe, and always share with your grandmother. She loves to watch us too. Now that we've got that out of the way, no, go ahead and click the like button. No, click it. Click it now. Okay, good. Now that that's out of the way, Scott, how are you doing tonight?
Pretty good. I'm excited to be here.
You excited to be here? Yeah, because you're a big fan of Star Trek.
I'm ready.
Star Trek, right?
No,
that's what's going on. Picard.
I had that shirt too, but
oh, okay. Star Wars. Star Wars night with all the phasers and lightsabers.
Phase saber, yes.
Phase saber.
The phase saber.
That's actually an interesting idea. We should have that in like a combined star conglomerate gaming system.
Yes, we should. That sounds great.
You should put that into that thing.
Oh, that's right. I'm already working on something like that.
You are.
Yeah, look
so
at that.
phase sabers and everything.
Phase sabers. We get around everything with that.
Yeah, it's not copywritten. It's a fusion.
That's right. Fusion saber.
Fusion sabers.
Fusion saber.
Like that.
This is going great.
This is how it's supposed to be. That's how you come up with ideas. That's how you play games.
This is actually how our campaigns go.
That's usually how it goes. Yeah. So this is what I'm building. This is the world I've created. Can I be Elmo? Wait, what? No. Pick some sort of Starfleet. I come from a race of Elmos.
Cybernetic Elmo.
Cybernetic Elmo, who then doesn't actually want to kill anybody, and the whole quest is that he wants to find fluffy unicorns somewhere.
It's an escort mission. You gotta escort Elmo back to his homeworld.
Good Lord. I can see some of our players actually getting into that. That's how they would actually start picking apart. You build an entire world, you put it in cosmic centimeters, and then all of a sudden they're like, why can't I be Elmo?
Think about it, Every time you go to a new world, you're trying to find his home, and you go and ask somebody, do you know where Sesame Street is?
And he's like, no, you've got to get me back. La 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 la, Elmo's world. Where is that? You know where it is. Don't joke around with me. Get me back to Elmo's world.
Yes, that's exactly
that's
how
it.
that works.
I'm going to have to voice that the entire time as the narrator in Elmo's voice.
Yes.
Every dungeon monster that comes up. But let me go ahead and ask you, this being a big deal to you, Star Wars is a big deal to you, and I know that about you. You've got at least 15 shirts that you brought tonight just to wear for Star Wars. What got you into it? What was a big deal about it for you that got you so lit up with it?
Man, let's see. Well, when I first saw Star Wars, it was actually on television. Mm-hmm. Of course, there's the edited versions of it. But the great thing about it was marathons.
Yeah, you could just watch the whole series.
You get to watch, all of them. Which I didn't know it was 4, 5, and 6. I was like, oh, this is cool. This is the first, second, and third one. Right. And then I read the title screen.
And to read the words before they went away.
Wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. But no, I really enjoyed that. When the first one I watched was the New Hope. That's what I watched. Mm-hmm. And of course, when it came on TV, I missed the very beginning of it. So I came in at the part where it already shows this farm boy on this planet, and I'm like, well, this is interesting.
What is he hopeful for?
Yeah. It's like, I wonder what's going to happen. Oh, look, it's little creatures. You could just, punt them. Boop. I don't know why nobody's done that yet, but
I remember watching that when I was a kid. We actually had them all recorded on VHS tapes. So everything was labeled. We'd taken it off of Showtime or something like that.
Yeah. See, we didn't, actually, I got a hold of the VHS tapes 20 years later after I'd seen it, which is hilarious because I never owned a single one of them. I just always watched it on television. And, of course, read the books. And I didn't know that the books was a whole completely other universe of it, expanded part of it. That was just really awesome. So, that was neat. But what I really liked about Star Wars, what got me into it, was I've always been a fan of sci-fi. That's always been one of my niches, is sci-fi, and of course, fantasy. And we take both of them together, with the Force.
That's it. It's duct tape, actually.
Star Wars.
What has a light side and a dark side? It's not the Force. It's duct tape. It's what holds the whole universe together. No, I got it. My dad was into it. I think that whenever he was young, he'd seen the original movie about 7 times that weekend. Like the opening weekend, he went and saw it. Boom, 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 back to back. He said, one week you're sitting there watching Godzilla and he's running around in a rubber suit, and then he said the next week you go to see this movie expecting kind of the same thing, and all of a sudden your whole mind's blown. So, of course, I was raised on it, but I didn't know about the books. People would tell me things that's like, what movie did you get that from? And I'm like, oh, it's not in the movie. It's like, oh, see, that's all I knew about. So
I don't read.
you're breaking my world. But now I get to laugh because all those books y'all took the time reading aren't canon anymore. So, hate to break it to you. Spoiler alert. Go ahead and ruin your knowledge.
They had comics, though.
They do have comics, and I do have them. So, that's okay. I read those. If it's a book with pictures, it's just like a movie to me. I will do that.
It's a slow motion movie.
It's as fast or as slow as I want it to be. It's like I want to fast forward, just flip through the pages that much faster. But if I want to, stop, freeze frame, you got these beautiful pieces of artwork. Marvel, of course, did a lot of the original comics for it, and Marvel doesn't do a whole lot wrong. Or if they do, they sweep it under the rug and make something better real quick.
Yes.
They're not like DC. Let's rehash that. Let's do that, but again. But yeah, it's a pleasure having him here. We're gonna do some different segments and talk about a few different things, just so that you can be prepared. This guy's gonna be showing up, and he's gonna throw in his ideas. So get ready to have your mind blown. This is gonna be a whole new universe, a far, far away, long, long ago galaxy that we're going to go into, and we're going to try to explore. I think there's a new video game that's coming out for Star Wars. There's, of course, a new movie that's coming out, and, of course, everybody's going to want to talk about the hot topic, which is The Mandalorian on Disney Plus. We've already told you Disney Plus was going to be a great thing. Well, guess what? They proved it. It's an amazing thing. And their personal creation show has just it's blown my mind. I don't know how you feel about it.
I thought it was called Tales of Baby Yoda.
It is actually. It's actually what we were talking about, getting Elmo back to Elmo's world.
It's the escort mission. It never ends. It goes on and on, my friend.
It goes on and on, my friend. And then he's like trying really hard, and he crushes a monster for the Mandalorian. Like, I like how the escort missions actually. We'll get into it later.
Yeah, we will.
But again, like I said before, don't forget to like, subscribe, click the thumbs up button, share it with your friends, put it on your Facebook, buy the t-shirts, buy the mugs. The toys may be for sale. It depends on how many times you click the like button and how many of your friends you can click the like button. The first one that gets over 50 people to like our video, I will give them a free action figure. Still in a box. Not Samuel L. Jackson, though. He's mine. Hey there! Does your life suck? Does your boss always tell you what to do? Does your wife tell you to sell all your toys? Well, maybe that happens to us too. But there's a place that you can go every Saturday night where you can find great stories about slimy-fingered trolls and gnomes with magical powers, dragons trying to take over the world, and weird-shaped dice. You don't know what to call them? Dodecahedrons? Maybe? I don't know, but there's numbers on every single side, and if you roll a nat 20, you might win the game. That's right, we're talking about Saturday Night Gaming. If you tune in on Podbean, on iTunes, on Google stuff. Look us up, Saturday Night Gaming. It's a podcast. It's great to listen to. Download it, play it in your phone, on your car. You got a long road trip coming up? Saturday Night Gaming. You got to drive to work where your boss constantly annoys you? Saturday Night Gaming. If you ever just think, I don't know how to get to sleep tonight? Saturday Night Gaming. Tune in for Saturday Night Gaming. Check out all of our excellent podcasts. And don't forget, like, subscribe, and share with your grandmother. Right, guys?
Right, SN Gaming 2017.
McClay agrees.
I can't share with my grandmother.
That's sad. Let's make sure that part gets in there. All right, now getting right back on track. We're going to talk to you today about Star Wars. That's right, space operas, full bore, the best, one of the oldest original sci-fi, pop culture fangasms that ever happened. And when you think about it, think about going to a movie, you see people lined up, dressed in costumes, wearing lightsabers on their
not
hilt.
a costume.
That's true. I called up to the Senate and I had them loan me the head Senate today. This is actually Senator Palpatine. I think he's a nice guy. Nothing's really gone wrong with it yet. He asked me to vote for him at some point in time. He said, Palpatine, 2020. Vote or don't complain.
You mean we actually vote?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you have to vote in this. It's a republic, right?
Oh, I guess so.
Like, it's the oldest republic? Old republic. Something of
Old
that
Republic,
nature.
yes. Yeah, there you
So,
go. That's
speaking of republics, though, what's this new Star Wars game called? Jedi?
Fallen Order.
The Fallen Order.
I love that title.
Because you like fallen things, right?
Unless it's me, but yes.
Because you just scream the whole way down.
Spoilers.
Spoilers! So this Fallen Order thing, what what's the basic gist of this? Is this anybody that we know, or is it about Darth Vader? What's going on in this game?
Well, it has a few returning characters from the Vader comics, the Inquisitors.
Okay.
So those are they're highlighted in there. But as far as the protagonists go, it's
Yes,
like
all of them.
So they just didn't get the job done, huh?
No.
Never can keep them happy.
That's why you have 9 of them.
Yeah, just keep them going.
Just keep them going. Just keep it like a factory. But yeah, that's pretty much it. They the protagonists they have new protagonists in there. It's obviously it's a Jedi who he was hiding out from the Purge, and you get to learn his backstory as you go through
Something
the
else
game.
Vader failed at. Go on.
Well, I mean, when you're trying to sit there and purge an entire galaxy and light years, a few fall through the cracks.
Yeah, try cleaning the bathroom. When I clean the bathroom, I miss stuff all the time, like grout. What the heck? Try killing all the Jedi off in the entire galaxy. I think he did a pretty good job for himself. But he still should have had that vacuum cleaner from Spaceballs. Because that's the only way to get things done.
What's the
I do
password?
agree with that.
So, but as far as this Fallen Order game goes, for those out there that really get into the mechanics of things, is this third person, first person shooter? Like, what's the setup for the gameplay? The mechanics?
It's an action adventure, and it's a third person, and it's what I like to call it. It's kind of a Tomb Raider mixed with Force Unleashed.
Okay.
So you get a couple aspects of both of those. You get to you feel like a Jedi with the powers, using the Force. And
Is it going to be like the Force Unleashed, where the character could choose to either go light or dark?
If not that I know of, not that's been revealed to me. It's more like the light side. However, they do show plenty of dark side powers in there and capabilities, so they do showcase that. So and you get to feel it.
The better side.
The good side, the dark side.
Yes.
You do get to feel the power of the dark side.
Yeah, it's a strong power.
Excellent.
You're on the other end of it, but you get to feel it.
Yeah, it's like Galactic Taco Bell. So
That is very powerful.
it is extremely powerful. Now, the other thing I'd heard about though was this new system, the Oculus system. That's like a 3D virtual reality. Have you heard of this, Palpatine? You got like advanced tech where you come from, right?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay. Well, he's probably wearing the actual system under the hood. You just can't tell. But you put on the VR system, and they've got this whole Star Wars thing. I'd only really experienced a beta test of it. You got Darth Vader comes out, and I remember just from being a kid, Darth Vader seemed kind of cool. He just never seemed that scary to me when he was on screen. But then I'm playing this Oculus thing, and this guy comes out. He is 7 feet tall. and you don't realize how mammoth this guy is. And, it kind of scared me for a minute,
I did give him extensions on his biotic limbs.
So he's like Go-Go Gadget, Go-Go Vader?
Essentially.
Yeah. Like, haha, I have the high ground now.
I let you in a secret. You press this button, he makes coffee.
Well, that's good. It's espresso.
I would like to use him for an alarm clock.
Yeah, just have him stand there. Like,
Wake up to
doop,
that.
doop, doop, doop. And then, like...
That's this button.
Is that button?
Yeah.
At 7 o'clock in the morning, it just starts going... It is time to wake up.
That reminds me.
Scott, you are late for work.
Reminds me of Jar Jar Binks.
No, Misa don't think so. No, I don't
It's
want
even
him.
better when Vader kills him.
Yeah. Like, kill Jar Jar. Like, that would be an alarm clock you couldn't sleep through. Misa think you'll get late for work! Like, why?
Robot Chicken was amazing with that episode. Because he started playing with all the panel, and then Vader said, "Here, step over here," and it hit the little ejection.
Good night. How did you feel about Jar Jar Binks?
He was frozen in carbonite.
Did you do that to him? Did you hire a Mandalorian to go get that done for you?
Of course, this is just in Legends. It's not canon. It's
Oh.
in Force Unleashed.
So it's kind of like Star Wars novels.
Sadly.
It tricked you into thinking it was canon.
I thought Jar Jar got him elected.
I thought he did too. Yeah, he does. Yeah, you actually got elected to the Senate. And
Does
then
it mean his
because of Jar
voice is
Jar.
grating and like nails on a chalkboard?
Yeah, that's true. I will sign with
Insolent
you on
fool.
that.
But he was quite useful.
Well, as we saw in the first episode, he has a tendency to like stick his tongue inside of electricity and stuff. So maybe originally he was a really smooth guy, and then just stuck his face into a fusion chamber. He's like, Jar Jar thinks Amiza gonna take you on a date, and then he like falls into a fusion reactor and comes out. And he's like, "What happened?" It's like, oh no.
But you could reform him into Inquisitor Binks.
Inquisitor Binks, and then send him out after these fallen Jedi, the Fallen Order of the Jedi, which will probably ensue into more spin-offs and toys. So, that's always a plus side. I'm hoping for unique lightsabers. That's kind of like one of the things I like to look for. It's always an interesting thing to see how they design these different flashlights.
I like the lightsaber whip.
I didn't know there was a whip. Who has a whip?
Her name was Lumaya.
Oh, yeah? She good guy, bad guy?
I think that's another Legends one.
What color was the whip? That really is a giveaway. Was it
Yellow.
Green, blue, yellow,
It was
red?
Yellow. Yeah, it's yellow.
It was yellow, and she was a Twi'lek.
Oh, tendril people.
She used it for dancing.
Very bad, and also cybernetic.
I heard that you're not supposed to touch their head tails. They're sensitive. I've learned this. I had to play an entire Star Wars game just to find that out. I don't know how many times Twi'lek was repeated to me until I actually got the name right, but it's okay. I was like, oh, you mean the dancing people from Jabba the Hutt's place, right? Not the fat one, but the other one.
Yes.
That got tossed into the cage with the Rancor, yeah?
Yep.
That was
That's
always
it. That's
extremely
them.
confusing for me. That whole scene was very confusing. Everybody was so happy about that. It didn't seem like a happy thing, but alright.
You talking about that reminded me, actually. The way that game is set up, the Jedi Fallen Order, it's set up like our campaigns have ran before. You've got a Jedi, maybe two. You've got someone piloting the ship, and then you're always getting into trouble. Trouble just follows you wherever you go.
Yeah, because you have decisions that you're allowed to make. I've learned that that's the number one thing about that people. And it really took like gaming group to get me to understand this. Why Darth Vader was the way he was. Because he knew people who made decisions for themselves, and he was like, "Will you stop doing that?"
Sure he wasn't in customer service?
Something of the
I'm pretty
nature.
sure I would turn some people to the dark
No,
side.
he wasn't in customer service. He had a friend. That's what happened to him.
That
It's
is
like-
my origin story.
Yeah, see, like he made one friend, and then he had like another friend that he was good friends with, and then there was a pull between the two of them, and one of them was like, "Come to the dark side," and the other one was like, "I have the high ground."
He always had a habit of killing masters, even his own.
Yeah, he was anti-authoritarian thing going on, except for when he was eventually in charge, which I guess he never really was he? Even when he killed his own master, he's like walking out dying at that point. He never got to be the one in charge.
Nope. That's
Not
right.
once. Poor Annie.
His cybernetics were in charge.
I mean, he couldn't even like control his own breathing. That's pretty sad. Let's like actually take a moment and just reflect on the sadness that is Anakin Skywalker's life. Like, how are you born the chosen one, and then you have to have an iron lung implanted into your suit, and then like no matter what, like I'm tired of you bossing me around, and that guy cuts your legs off. And then he's like, I'm tired of you bossing me around. I throw you down a ventilator shaft, and then that guy electrocutes you to death. Like, you never really get,
Yeah.
never catch a break.
That's when you just go over to me and go, Annie, are you okay? Are you okay?
Can you tell me are you okay? Yeah, like even when you get married and you're supposed to be happy and you're having kids, you accidentally force choke a person to death. my bad, baby. You know how I get when I'm emotional.
I knew exactly where you're going with that.
Everybody else will read my mind on that too, unless
I read
they're
your
under the
mind.
age of 13, and then in which case, still click like and subscribe and share with your parents and your grandparents. Call them up, say, I can't wait for you to see this. My favorite show. It's called Turn the Page because they talk about comic books and video games and movies
And dancers. I mean,
and
toilets.
Twi'leks and
Twi'leks. That's
yeah. Now, wasn't there like a red Twi'lek, or was that just something that I saw one day that I wasn't supposed to look at? Like this red evil, like dark Twi'lek.
The
Where
name
did
is
you go?
Darth Talon.
Darth Talon. Okay,
Yes.
so I didn't find that on a bad
Oh.
site. I found it on a regular thing.
I remember that now.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you didn't.
This is just an image search. That's a Twi'lek, right? Yeah. Well, I had
You
to draw
saw
pictures
all
of
of
them.
the Twi'lek.
I saw plenty. I had to have art reference to draw a picture. I had a friend. She was rolled in as a Twi'lek, and of course that didn't end poorly for her. But she was hanging out with this guy named Captain Winston Claymore, and from what I hear, legend has it, the coolest guy in the Star Wars universe. So cool that nobody else knows about him unless they tune in to Saturday Night Gaming, and they also click like and they subscribe to that, and they listen to the Star Wars campaign. Then they can hear
Do it.
all about, force them to with your force powers, man. Lightning at
Do
the
it.
thing. Don't bring
Do
the
it
camera
now.
down. But yeah, check it out. Check out the adventures of Captain Winston Claymore. Find out what happens when his buddy learned how to drive in the Stormtrooper Academy. And crazy stuff happens. And I think you'll have a lot of fun with that. There's lightsabers, there's blasters, there's
Crossover.
trees.
It's a crossover.
There's crossover events.
With
That
trees.
was amazing. And there were
Lots of
trees. I don't know if anybody else in the world knows how afraid you should be of trees, but if there's one person that can stand witness to the evil that is the tree, it's
I've
me.
seen Evil Dead. I know to watch out for trees.
That tree was lighthearted compared to some of the trees that I've encountered in gaming. I'm telling you that right now. That tree is straight up from Sesame Street compared to some of the trees I've seen.
That's not good.
No, it is not good. You know how to roll a 13 and still not kill a tree branch with a blaster? Don't know. Do you know how to roll a 20 on knowing what's going on and then a tree still tries to eat you? I'm not even going to tell you what you have to do to get out of that.
Sounds
Why?
like a
Because
sequel.
I want you to tune in to Saturday Night Gaming, and I want you to find out for yourself. Listen to all our episodes when you're driving to work, or when you're just trying to ignore your wife or your boss. Or when your boss is telling you, hey, you're fired, just tune in to Saturday Night Gaming. And don't even listen to him. Keep going to work every day after that. He'll keep paying you, I'm pretty sure.
Need my
It might
stapler.
work out. Where's my
Stapler.
I'm going to have to move you to the basement. Yeah, that'll be nice. Just
And he's
move
going to
on
bring this place down to the ground.
I'm gonna bring this down to the ground. I need my stapler. So yeah, now that we've completely derailed ourselves from talking about video games or anything else, I want to move on to the next segment. So don't forget to join us back after the commercial break. Get ready to die. Ouch! What? Stop! You must roll. Oh, right. I forgot. Do it.
What is it?
I don't know. It fell on the floor.
Critical failure.
Alright, I gotta roll.
Oh, right. Hold on. 5 dice. It fell under Palpatine's feet. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Doing something bad back here. It's okay. Ooh, 15.
15. Alright.
You've got a lot of initiative. Oh, no. Ah, yeah. Oh, wait. Crap. Just like Sammy J. Good. If you like this and more dice action, don't forget to tune in to Saturday Night Gaming. And every time something sucks in life, Saturday Night Gaming. Alright, now to keep the flow going, I want to go ahead and talk about some more great Star Wars goodies that they've got coming out. Because, I mean, if you're a part of a fan group, like, what do you even call? I know the Trekkies are called Trekkies. What are Star Wars people called?
Fans.
Just fans. That's like the original fanboy, I think.
Fanboys, there you go.
Fanboy, yeah.
Fans.
But one of the biggest things that fanboys have always loved is this guy, Boba Fett. I'm not entirely sure why. When I grew up watching the movie, he just kind of like flew around, crashed, didn't kill anybody, and he wasn't even the person that captured Han Solo. He just transported him. He's USPS. And then he landed in a big hole in the ground in the desert. And for some reason, everybody's like, Boba Fett's so awesome!
He
And I'm
looked
like,
cool. He was cool looking.
he was neat. Fine, whatever. But, and then Jango Fett comes out for the original prequel trilogy, and
He also looked cool.
he was neat. Far more neat without the helmet on when he's all like, hey, let me tell you about what I'm doing here. I'm with these aliens. They let me drink beer all day, and I just have babies. That was neat, I guess. But he at least had a fight with Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
Right.
It was a good fight.
But from what I'm understanding, what this guy's cloned off of, Jango, it comes from a species of people called Mandalorians.
Maybe, like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Scott the expert, but Jango Fett did not actually come from Mandalore. Did he not?
Well, he states that he came from Mandalore. However, it wasn't confirmed. Like, they haven't been able to actually confirm.
And then, of course, Boba.
You know,
It's definitely not Mandalore.
in the story, they haven't been able to confirm that he's actually from Mandalore.
Yeah.
You know.
Because Boba was basically orphaned.
He was an orphan clone.
Yeah, totally
Yes.
not Mandalorian. Like,
Yeah, he's just from the planet of the weird tall alien people.
did he actually get his armor from his father, or is that some found armor?
Well, it's a
He-
different paint job.
Yeah, it's
Well,
definitely a different paint job.
Right. If I remember, I believe it's the same armor.
Same armor?
Yeah. And I know Clone Wars actually went. Clone Wars is a nice little backstory of Boba. You know, like after the events of that, before the trilogy, the original trilogy, the Clone Wars actually goes into Kid Boba, basically. You know,
Okay.
as a child, and basically what he did to survive. And do his own bounty group and everything. He actually even went after Windu and almost succeeded.
Oh, because he killed his father.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Only in
He
a
almost
book.
succeeded. He came this close to it.
Only in a book could that happen.
Plot device kept him alive.
There's no way. Samuel L. Jackson would just smack Boba in the face. He'd be like, "Fool, what? George Lucas didn't even want to put you in the movie." He was like, "Oh, I gotta come up with a name for you." And he was like, "Beep, beep, what? Oh, let's just name him Bob. Bob, you can't name beep that. Oh, well, let's call him Boba. Oh, yeah, that's more inventive, Mr. Lucas." I love Samuel L. Jackson, sorry.
Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, though, but I believe Samuel took a huge pay cut just to be in Star Wars.
He probably did. He probably did it with pride.
Like
They even told him, "We're going to need you not to drop any bombs." And he was like, "What you talking about?" And they were like, "No M's, no F's, none of the combination of the two." And he was like, "Oh, I can't say Monday to Friday in this movie? I can't say monkey fighter? Oh, son of a Baptist preacher." It was crazy. So that was actually why he took the pay cut. Because he couldn't use his most famous lines. But yeah, so Boba, or Bob Fett, as I'll like to call him now, is actually supposed to be like this Mandalorian tribe of people. And recently, with Disney Plus, they have released a very epic show called The Mandalorian, where we get to learn of this person who, again, is, I think, in your mind, not a Mandalorian. He's not from Mandalore.
this
He's a
person-
foundling.
Well, he's a foundling, and from my understanding, a lot of Mandalorians now are foundlings.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
a little late.
it's not a big.
If you know what foundling means.
Yeah, it's not a big reveal or anything, but yeah, I don't know how I can talk about the show without
this guy-
spoiling
this
some
guy.
aspects of
You're
it.
going to have to spoil some of it for
Yeah,
us.
It's
so-
still going at this point.
And I don't think it ruins anything because it's pretty early on that you see the remains of what of the Mandalorians. As far as we know, this is all there is. There might be other sects out there with slightly different ways of living in different parts of their.
Now, these ones actually dictate, though, you can't take the helmet off.
Yeah,
That's what's interesting about it. Because
might be just to that tribe. It's not true of all Mandalorians.
no, because if you go back to the
And Jango's
Rebel
always
series,
taken off his
Well,
helmet.
he's not Mandalorian, so
He's Australian.
he's Australian.
Jango had his helmet taken off for him.
Well, no, that was his head. It's still in the
That's
helmet.
different. That's also frowned upon in Mando's tribe is taking your head off.
Oh, now in
Yeah, don't
Rebels,
take the head
Don't
off.
take your head off.
the Rebels series, you had a Mandalorian Sabine, and she was constantly taking her helmet off. And because she was a teenage Mandalorian, always had the hairdo and everything,
Punk
you know.
rock Mandalorian.
Which,
I was
I
a
mean, it was a
teenage
fan
Mandalorian.
favorite of the series because of that representation of her. She was always a rebel.
Mhm.
But, like you said, I don't think she was the purest Mandalorian.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think that now pure Mandalorian isn't really a thing because of what happened to Mandalore, and so they're having to replenish their numbers in different ways.
Okay, somebody's going to have to catch me up because none of the original movies that I've watched. So I'm only a Star Wars nerd for as far as collecting a lightsaber and watching a movie. Everybody's talking about this horrible stuff that happened to Mandalore. What happened?
Scott.
Okay, so during Clone Wars, alright, you had Mandalore, which was civilized, it was prosperous, and also was neutral.
Okay.
Okay? The, I don't know if she was really call her a queen, but she was a ruler of Mandalore. She actually had a relationship with Obi-Wan. Okay? Got pretty close with each other at the
Yeah.
point where he had to choose the order over her. Well, they stayed close throughout the Clone Wars. Well, towards the end of the Clone Wars, the Emperor, before he became the Emperor, he was putting plans in motion to overtake Mandalore, putting his own pieces in play. And it led to her being pretty much uprooted from being ruler of Mandalore, and the Emperor basically placed his pawn in its place. And then at the same time, we also had Darth Maul come back to Mandalore and rule it for a little while, which was against
Did
the
he have
Emperor's
robot
wishes.
legs?
He did. Actually, had chicken legs. Chicken robot legs.
Yeah. Because
Chicken
I was going to
robot
say, I
legs.
saw them fall away from
Yeah.
him.
Now,
Yeah.
one of the coolest scenes of Clone Wars was when the Master came back, to face the apprentice on Mandalore. When Maul faced off against the Emperor.
Oh, they didn't get along?
Oh no, because he was thought to be dead. And when the Emperor feels his presence, and him causing all this ruckus, especially when he's trying to put these plans in motion on Mandalore, he goes and handles it personally. And personally, does he handle it?
Oh, with his lightning fingers.
Oh, he just really just handled them well. So it scarred him psychologically too, because you see that in Rebels. Spoiler. For Maul makes a return in there.
But what happens to
So-
Mandalore? Why is it?
When Mandalore was after the Clone Wars, Mandalore was under the Imperial control. Well, the Imperial basically were using Mandalore to mine the metal that you see in the Mandalorian series.
The one that he wants to make his whole armor
They
out of.
basically did. They basically turned the entire plan into like a mining facility, so to speak, of getting this specific metal for the Empire. So essentially, the Empire robbed Mandalore of its natural
And
resource.
probably made its own people be the slaves to
Enslaved its own people with its own people, because it had a Mandalorian that was ruling the Mandalorians and enslaving its own people.
That's
That's
see,
messed
That
up.
was during Rebels, is when that all came to be.
You know, that's why you got to be careful when you vote. All right.
So the
don't
Mandalorian
forget
takes place
Stevens
after
for 2024.
that. Yeah, I'll vote for you.
Well, you're gonna have to. You're gonna be my Secretary of Art.
Yeah.
Right. I had to invent that for you.
But like, so Mandalorian, or the Mandalorian takes place after the events of all this, and like Mandalorians are scattered throughout the galaxy, and like I assume clusters, and this is like one of the clusters. Like for all they know,
Yes.
do you know if they know there are any other survivors or?
Well, the narration so far, I think, is pretty epic. I mean, each episode may or may not tell you a whole lot,
Mhm.
but you're really excited about learning it.
They're a lot shorter than I imagined they would be.
They are,
yeah.
but they are very well done. The graphics, the CG, which
Oh yeah,
has some.
there's a couple things about the special effects that I'm interested in. Like when I first saw it, I first saw Baby Yoda,
Mhm.
and I saw like
He was baby. He was cute.
he was a baby. He was cute. That's the first thing I noticed. And the second thing was like, oh my god, that's Yoda, but a baby.
He's so chill.
Yeah, he's so chill. But really, it was the little hairs on the top of his head. And I was like, either this is the best CGI I have ever seen, or it's a puppet, or really the best puppet I've ever seen. And so it turns out that it was a puppet, like Baby
So there's
Yoda.
a puppet and CG over
I
the
don't
puppet.
think there is a CG. Maybe when he's in the little thing, but like I think it's a puppet. The majority when he has a close
Nice.
up, it's a puppet.
Like the
And
original Yoda?
like the original Yoda,
But better.
but better. Yeah, like I think they did an amazing job with the eyes and the emoting, and then also some new CGI innovations. So like you might have noticed that the in credits, Epic Games is credited. It's like, well, why is the creator of Fortnite getting a cred on The Mandalorian? The reason is that they're employing some new CGI technology to do a lot of the shots. A lot of the location shots aren't actually shot on location. They're shot in a studio, and basically the way they set it up is they have a wall, a video wall, and a video ceiling, and then some video panels off to the left. And 100% of the Mandalorian, like if he's standing there, is lit by these panels. So what they do is they generate.
Well, you like his metal or whatever.
Yeah. So you get real-time reflections of the scene on the panels reflecting in his armor.
Right.
You also matched lighting perfectly because so if you had like a sunset over here, it's lighting him appropriately, and you can change anything about the scene's lighting, and it is immediately happens in the actual on the Mandalorian himself because he's being lit by that. And so what it allows is they have like say a rock scene in the desert, right? And they have it like high noon or something, and then the way the camera is set up, and the reason why it needs to be Unreal Engine or real-time engine is because however they move the camera, the background is reacting to that. So like if I was to film you like this,
Right.
and I move the camera this way,
Well, the background's going to kind
the
of shift.
background is going to shift behind you.
Right.
You get parallax and all sorts of interesting things. So that's what is happening. So they can actually put that camera wherever they want and move it wherever they want, and everything stays 1-to-1 as if those mountains were really back there. And the great thing about this is it's all in camera. There's no post. There's no like taking out a green screen, making a CG scene, matching it together, matching the lighting. The lighting is perfect. They can actually like change the lighting however they want, and it happens in real time. So it makes for a really quick turnaround, and they can just put them
Which
in whatever.
I guess would save them money.
Save them money in the long run. They just
It
put
sounds
them,
expensive to me.
well, like the initial
On the
set's
front end.
expensive on the
Yeah.
front
Yeah.
end. But then if you have a whole show built around the technology, it's about a half dome. So like I could go from here all the way around to the other side of Tony's face and be covered. The only time when like if you had like a long shot or something like that, for any and every close up, like or even like mid shots, you can use this technology and it looks very convincing. You need to go to a forest, boom, forest. You need to go to a desert, boom, desert. You need to go to the inside of a ship, boom, inside of a ship. The only thing that needs to be real is stuff that you interact with.
So basically, the Mando himself,
Baby
and
Yoda.
Baby Yoda, who I've learned is a puppet.
For the majority of the time, yes.
Another similarity to Elmo.
Yes, yes.
The Mandalorian, the
Yeah.
puppet master.
The puppet master.
There's actually an interesting story.
Master of puppets, hear you scream! Oh, sorry.
The actor who hires Mando in the very beginning, I can't remember his name. I feel bad about that. But
Are you talking about Big Man? The one that used to go head-to-head with Arnold Schwarzenegger and...
the one behind him. The one.
Oh, the guy that does all the documentaries of, like, nature and
the
stuff.
one that.
The old guy.
Yes. I just can't remember his name. Well, somebody needs to put it at the bottom.
Yeah. Daniel
Which
put a
character?
picture of it. The old Imperial.
Yeah,
that
the guy
buys
who's
him out
working
the
on the
money.
Empire.
yes.
He's the nature documentary guy.
Yes, that's why he sounds so
Yeah.
familiar.
So he had an affinity.
Daniel put a picture of him down the bottom, and when he does that, he'll put his name right below that, and I'll
That
say,
explains it.
Yeah.
ha, this is what I knew the whole time, I just didn't want to reveal it. I don't like spoilers.
So
That explains the whole Baby Yoda thing because he's the nature documentary.
yeah. Well,
I
the
just
actor.
want to look at it. I want to see it interact with its environment. And I'll give you all of this metal so you can make shiny armor, which reacts with light in real time.
Good guy Imperial.
Yeah.
Not really. He seems like a very bad guy. But the actor
He's
seems
probably
like
not
a very
that
good
great
guy.
of a guy, but...
Well, the actor was, he enjoyed having a puppet to interact with, but he didn't treat it like a puppet. He interacted it like it was a real thing. And one day they were like, "All right, we're taking the puppet away," and
and then he cried.
Well, no, he was like, "Why are you doing that? We're still filming, right?" It's like, "Yeah."
I think
well,
it's Warner Herzog.
yes. I think you're
Yeah,
right.
I think that's his name.
Warner Herzog, and
Not
so
Herzog.
they said we're going to do a clean plate
Yeah.
just in case
Yeah,
the puppet doesn't work out. We can always put a CG version. And he called Jon Favreau a coward for doing that. That the puppet was great. You don't need to like cover your bases just in case. It's like just go for it. And that's the story I heard. Yeah, but like,
I'm gonna get mad at you, Jon Favreau. Oh,
when you
no.
get mad, he just called him a coward.
He had PTSD all over
Yeah.
again
Thank
from
you for
Robert
the
Downey
money,
Jr.
But
Thanks for money.
that show, I've seen about 3 episodes of it now, and it's
Third episode.
It's like a
I think we
space
should
western.
definitely do a review on Let's Discuss with Saturday Night Gaming once the entirety of those 8 episodes have been released.
3 more after tonight.
So 3 more after tonight. And don't forget to tune in for that again on Saturday Night Gaming. We're going to have our Let's Discuss podcast that's on there. So let's go ahead and cut to our commercial break so you can check out more information on that.
This is Dan speaking. I'm checking in just to remind you to check us out at facebook.com/turnthepage-show, where you can find pictures, you can find links to all of our videos, you can find interesting articles that we've discovered around the internet and discuss them with us. We may even mention your comments on the show. So head on over there, put a bookmark in, and come on back. I'll wait for just a moment. You should probably hurry. It looks like they're on their way back.
All right. And just steam plowing right ahead, we're going to go ahead and talk about something that we don't know a whole lot about yet. We know some stuff, and we do know that there might be a Swiss Army knife lightsaber. But above all else, we're talking about the newest installment, the end of the actual baseline Star Wars story.
42 years in the making.
42 years. That's amazing.
42 years.
That's like as old as John McClay. This is going to be
check?
episode 9.
Yep.
At the end, the Omega.
But have you heard the story, or excuse me, the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
I have not. I've never heard of Darth Plagueis. Oh, you didn't have anything more to tell me? That's interesting. He's like, I also haven't heard of Darth Plagueis.
He lived, he breathed, he died.
He died. It was,
The end.
Oddly enough, from
Grumpy
something
cat.
called bubonic. Bobonic? Boba Fett. But no, we're going to get the ending installment, and from what I've seen of the actual posters and some of the teaser trailers, it seems to me like our friend here is going to be in the movies again. It seems like the return of Palpatine, or at least Palpatine's evil Sith Force Ghost.
Well, they teased a little bit of that in the Star Wars Battlefront 2. During the campaign, you actually do get a little tidbits of Palpatine, but it's robots basically that he pre-programmed with his mannerisms and commands and such. And it even goes so far into the novels that after the fall of the Empire, he had contingencies put in place. So this is essentially these contingencies coming to light finally.
Okay. Well, because it's odd to me, like, all the people that were Jedis that I've seen pass away. Qui-Gon Jinn, Yoda, Obi-Wan Kenobi, even Darth Vader, because he purified his soul at the end there, they all become Force ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
So they get to live on in this immortality of being a blue see-through person. But so far, we haven't seen any kind of Sith evil Force ghost. Would you think that they would get into that at all?
Well, they did touch on that a little bit during the Clone Wars with Dathomir, where the Night Sisters and Night Brothers, they practiced a different form of the dark side of the Force, using magic, so to speak. And they actually had the souls of the dead and such like that risen back up. And it's actually present also in the game that we talked about earlier segment.
Okay.
So now that's about, as far as dark side goes, it's kind of like a necromancy type thing when it comes to that.
Now, this is another interesting thing
Because
that
we
I
really
noticed.
don't like to let things die.
Yeah, that's what I was going to actually bring up right now. It seems to me like you're actually doing some good for the universe. You're hiring a lot of disabled veterans. Between Grievous and Dooku and Vader, like, breathing problems for days. You got this
A cough.
Count Dooku. That what's up with this guy? Like, he's just a retired old man, and you're like, come back to work for me, and he's like, okay, I'll take my Geritol and I'll get back to work. And then he's got like a lightsaber that looks like a cane, even too, just in case he loses his balance or his bad knee acts up on him
He
because the
has
weather
used
changed.
it before.
Yeah, but then it like sinks into the ground because like it's a lightsaber. So
That's the joke.
that's the funny part. And then this what's up with a robot with breathing problems too? Like, is it a decommissioned old robot like Grievous? Like, what's up with that? He's like the leader of the AI robot community, but he's like, I've got multiple arms and I'm really scary, but I have a coughing problem. Like, what's going on? You have
That's
like
because
every
of Mace Windu.
Oh, he is pretty BA.
Windu crushed his chest.
But he's a robot. Build him a new chest.
He was not a robot. He's a cyborg.
Oh,
That's why he caught fire. That was organic. They got hit with a blaster and caught fire.
Oh.
Indeed, my little friend.
I feel. Oh yeah, don't ask her. That's something they didn't really touch on enough in the movie. I felt like he was a robot that just had some problems.
Yeah.
But no, my man Sammy J, he took him down. He crushed him like a BA man, a BA Bamf. There we go. I can say that on TV.
Yeah, it says Mace Windu turned him into a Grievous, essentially.
He was quite frightening.
So, why is it that no Jedis have any problems? Like, the only one that did ended up becoming Darth Vader. Like, I've seen all these Jedis. Only one of them gets, like, a bionic arm. And that's the same one who ends up being... So, that's what the Sith are. It's Jedis who don't have workman's comp. And then they're mad at the organization. The Order totally let them down. Didn't give them any kind of paid leave. And then they go over to this guy who's like... welcome to Medicare. Yeah.
The Jedi have 401k.
Wait. Bernie? Sorry. So. But the big thing about this movie coming up too is everybody's going to be excited. But nowadays we get to actually pre-order our tickets. We have set seats. We're all going to go see it, and I know that we're going to talk about it on the Less Discussed podcast as well for Saturday Night Gaming.
My tickets.
To listen to the podcast? That's good. We're selling tickets for that now?
We are.
We are, I guess.
We should do that. Wow, thanks.
We should be.
Thanks, Palpatine. Yeah, so we're going to talk about that on Saturday Night Gaming Presents Let's Discuss, and that'll be the 23rd.
23rd, yes.
23rd, that'll drop.
That following Monday.
So right before Christmas, you can really get into the holiday spirit by listening to us either love or bash this movie that's coming up that you may like or not like or want spoilers for. So join us for that. It's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun. Just fanboys hanging out with fanboys who love Trekkies and everything else.
Maybe some fangirls.
I love fangirls. Fangirls are the best. My fangirl is the best fangirl, actually. She's a Trekkie. Whovian. It's a fusion fangirl. You've got like a fanish girl, right? She's into stuff. Or she's into it for you, right? So
Oh no, she's into it for herself.
for herself. That's the best way to be in it for. So yeah, check all that stuff out. There'll be great news coming up. We're going to have a Christmas special of our show coming up. Turn the Page, Christmas special, so don't forget to tune in for that. And we're going to talk a lot more about things coming up at that point. I might even break out some crazy awesome news about my own life at that episode. Wait and see, who knows. Maybe if Jessica tells me I can, I will. Yeah.
Crazy life
Yeah.
together?
All of it
When
together.
does that happen?
It's every day. Every day. We're taking out all sorts of letters from words to make them cooler. Every day.
Heard it.
Every day. So yeah, cool stuff's coming up, and we're going to probably, hopefully, announce that. I don't know. Don't forget to leave messages for us, comments, if you want to know more things, or you want to suggest topics, you want to suggest something else that I can sell to you on screen for likes.
Corrections in the episode.
Yeah, corrections on the episode. Maybe ask them, why did that happen? Go ahead and leave that in the comment box. And after you do that, don't forget to like and subscribe and share with your whole family. And remember, if you get to 50 shares first, and they all like us too, I'll get you a free toy. All right? And so it'll come out of my own pocket. That toy.
As you look at me.
So thanks again for joining us on another episode of Turn the Page. Thank you for my special guest, Scott Hibbard, and my other special guest, Bernie Palpatine. It's been a pleasure doing business with you again, my loyal viewers. I love you, and I can't wait to see you again on the next episode.